Alright, hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the Rideshare Hub. My name is Dylan. Thank you so much for coming by. This is a super important video. I'm gonna go over why Uber and Lyft drivers should never take cash rides. If you're a passenger watching this, make sure you never get in the car with a driver doing a cash transaction for a ride rather than going through the app. You always want to make sure everything's being done through the app unless you do have a commercial license or, a business, a transportation business where you are doing it legally. But for the most part, if you're an Uber and a Lyft driver, here is why you should not be doing cash or Venmo or any other form of payment outside of the app as a driver. I'm going to get into all of that, but before I do, please hit the thumbs up button. Would help me out a ton, and consider subscribing if you do want to be notified whenever I do post videos about rideshare and the gig economy. I'm trying to provide the best experience for drivers. I am a driver myself. I've been driving rideshare part-time for a couple of years now, which is pretty crazy because it just seems like yesterday I did my first ride and got over those first ride jitters. If you haven't done your first ride yet, I know you probably have your first ride jitters. Don't worry, they get out of the way really quickly after your first ride, I guess. But it does get easier as you go along. But here's why. I never had anybody fully explain to me. I had to do my own research, and this is, I didn't really know why cash ride. I just heard don't do them, and I know a lot of drivers still do them, and a lot of drivers don't know the implications and the consequences that could come with doing cash rides. So I'm gonna go over a really quick story, and then I have 4 reasons. There's 4 separate parts on why you should not do cash rides. You don't want to miss them. Let's just say, okay, I'll get into them in a second. But first of all, this is a scenario where a cash ride could happen. Some people might even think, well, how could a cash ride even happen? So, one time I was doing a ride, right? I go to the person's house, and I'm waiting. They're not there. Well, I'm at their house and they're inside, and I text them, I call them, no answer. And so I'm waiting 5 minutes, and it's like 4 minutes. I'm waiting for the thing, counting down to 0, and finally it hits 0. I'm literally just waiting to cancel because I'm just gonna cancel and leave because they didn't answer. I'm expecting them not to come, so I don't want to waste my time, right? I don't want to get my cancellation fee. So once it hits 5 minutes, I click cancel, and no joke, as soon as I click cancel, the door opens and they start walking out. They start walking out and they come up to me and they go, and I was actually, I was a pretty new driver at this time. So I didn't know that you can't re-request a driver. So I said, oh, they're like, hey, we really want to ride. And I was like, okay, you know what, Lowell, just try to reorder a ride really quick and I'm going to try to accept it. And I actually, I think this was my first or second week, and I was trying to maintain my cancellation rate so I wouldn't lose my power driver bonus for the week, or whatever it was called. And so they get there, and I say, oh, reorder a ride, and as they're doing it, I'm not getting the ride request, except I'm getting rides from other people, and I have to click cancel, so my cancellation rate is dropping. And finally, I told finally I just said, I need to turn the app off because I'm losing so many cancellation rates. My cancellation rate is going down. And they say, oh, well, what if I give you cash for the ride since it's not syncing up? And in my head, I was like, wow, yeah, why not? Why not just do cash? And they're like, how much is that? I was like, I don't even know, because they don't even tell you how much it's gonna be. And I was like, I don't know, probably 20 or 30 bucks. And they're like, okay. And then I was like, yeah, well, wait, you know what? Never mind, I shouldn't do it, because I knew in the back of my head it was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. And then later on, I did my research. I figured out, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I didn't do cash rides. And still on Facebook, you can put up a poll on Facebook in a Facebook driver group and ask, how many of you guys do cash rides? It'll literally be hundreds of people will say they do cash rides, but that they would have taken that ride. But anyways, here's the 4 reasons why you shouldn't. So first of all, I gave you the scenario how you could get a cash ride, or a driver could get a cash ride, and then I'm gonna go over 4 reasons why you should not do a cash ride. I'm serious, guys. Don't take this as a joke, oh yeah, 4 reasons why you shouldn't do cash rides. Come on, Dylan. No, this is serious stuff, okay? The first reason is insurance reasons, okay? This insurance is huge already as a rideshare driver. If you get into any accident, usually there is crazy insurance implications because, as you know, most personal insurance companies do not cover you while you're driving rideshare. And Uber and Lyft does provide insurance while you're on a ride. However, if you're doing a cash ride, you're not doing a ride on Uber and Lyft. So your Uber and Lyft doesn't cover you if you get into an accident. No one's covering it. Your car isn't being covered. Your personal car isn't being covered. The other car isn't being covered. They're not being covered. If you get into an accident and they get injured, usually you have like up to like $1 million on your insurance policy, right? Because if they get injured and I don't know, God forbid, like they get seriously injured, they could sue you. And if you're driving, doing a cash ride, Uber and Lyft insurance isn't covering it, and most likely your personal insurance isn't covering it if you don't have a rideshare policy on it. And you could be seriously screwed if you get into an accident and your passenger gets hurt, or even you just hit another car, you know. Usually, you know, there's a Jaguar parked right in front of me. If I hit that Jaguar while I'm driving, you know, my insurance is just gonna cover it. I might have to pay a couple $100 out of pocket, no big deal. Even though that car probably costed, you know, $20,000 to repair. But if you're doing a cash ride and you hit a Jaguar, you're paying $20,000 yourself out of pocket because your insurance is not covering that. So that's a reason why you don't want to do cash rides as insurance. All right, reason number 2. The second reason why you do not want to do cash rides is for legal reasons. So when you sign up to get your driver's license, you know, as a normal driver, whatever you get your driver's license when you turn 16 or whatever. Maybe you didn't get until you turned 25, but whatever. When you get your driver's license, you know, you basically said that, well, you didn't say, but well, I don't know, maybe you did, but you're not allowed to take people in exchange for money. That your normal driver's license does not permit you to do that. A commercial driver's license, maybe. If you have the proper licenses and maybe you own a company, a transportation company, whatever, you have all the proper license. But normal driver's license, you are not allowed to take people in exchange for money. Sure, if you go to, you know, the grocery store or your buddy comes with and wants to pay for gas, sure, that's fine. But you can't drive around asking strangers for, you know, hey, do you want to ride? And you charge them money. It is illegal. It's completely illegal. You are not permitted to do that if you, you know, if all you have is a normal driver's license. However, if you're an Uber and a Lyft driver, then you are permitted to do so through the app because they have all the licenses, whatever. I don't really know how it all works, but it's legal. You know, you're allowed to drive around and pick people up through the app. You are a driver, a rideshare driver, an Uber driver, or a Lyft driver, and you can do it. However, the problem is when you're driving somewhere, like I said, when I went to pick up those passengers and they offered cash, if I would have accepted that, now I'm going into the category of doing a ride in exchange for money outside of Uber and Lyft. So now I am operating my illegally. I'm going against my parameters. I'm going against my restrictions of a driver with a US driver's license. I don't know how it works in the other parts of the world, but say you get a ticket, say you're speeding, say you run a stop sign, which everybody runs stop signs. Does everybody always stop at the stop sign and look left, look right, then go? No. Most people just roll through it. Or I don't know, maybe whatever, maybe you have an expired registration. I don't know how, whatever. Say you get pulled over. Say you get into a little fender bender. Maybe it's not, again, maybe it's not even your fault. You get pulled over, the cop shows up, and they find out that you're not doing you're not an Uber ride, and because they might bring you out and say, hey, what's your story? I've had this before too, where I was with somebody and we were driving and they pulled us over. We think they might have thought we were like illegal aliens, because we were like driving through Oklahoma, and he pulled us over at like just super randomly. But whatever the case was, he pulled I'm not gonna say who it is, but they pulled the person I was with out, asked him his story, and then and put him in the cop car, and then the cop came to me and asked me what my story was. So if they do that to the passenger is gonna say, oh yeah, you know, I'm doing a ride, he's my driver. And they say, oh, you know, what are you gonna count on the passenger to lie for you? I don't think so. So when you do that, you could very easily lose your license. as a, your driver's license. It could be suspended for operating a car illegally with your passenger. And again, I already went over the whole insurance reasons and everything. But yeah, you could lose your license and easily, obviously, get deactivated from Uber and Lyft. You won't be able to drive again because you won't have a driver's license. You won't even drive a normal car for however long. So yeah, it's illegal. That's another reason why you should not do cash rides. The third reason, deactivation. There is so many reasons why you shouldn't do cash rides, okay? This one is deactivation. When you're doing a cash ride, you are going against Uber and Lyft's terms of service. Why? Because you're pretty much stealing their competition. You might say, oh yeah, let's do a cash ride outside the app so Uber doesn't take their commission. Screw them. Let's just use their app, find somebody, and then negotiate a cash rate with them. Again, if you get into an accident or whatever, blah, 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 I don't even know, and Uber and Lyft find out, they will deactivate you. No questions asked. You're stealing their competition. That's just not how it works. You can't even I have a friend who he works at a gym, and he's a trainer there, and he signed an agreement saying that he can't take personal clients that he meets at that gym and then go train them outside of the gym, because that's just stealing competition. Like, people who already are going to that gym, he can't just say, oh yeah, let me train you outside. He signed an agreement saying that. Most businesses do that. Same with Uber and Lyft. You can't meet up somebody using the app and then negotiate a different deal. Like, it's not how it works. You can get deactivated for it, and I have seen it. The fourth and final reason why Uber and Lyft drivers and passengers should not do cash rides is for safety reasons. It is completely unsafe to do a cash ride. When you're driving Uber and Lyft, a lot of people ask me, is it safe? And I would say, well, yes or no, yes and no. Obviously, it depends when and where you're driving, but also, when you're driving Uber and Lyft, everything is tracked through the app. So even if something does happen, they can always look up who that rider was, who that driver was, and track them. But when you're doing a cash ride, it's not through the app at all. Nothing's being tracked on GPS. They don't know where you are, who you're with, who that person could be. A total stranger, or could be a total bad guy. And a lot of time, maybe somebody will even say, like, you're driving Uber and somebody stops you. Maybe you're like resting and chilling. Somebody comes up to you and say, hey, can I have a ride? I don't have an app, I don't have a phone, and I don't have a credit card, so I can't download the app, but here's $20. And you might think, oh, sweet, $20. I don't even have to go through the app. That person is most likely dangerous because, statistically, people without phones or credit cards, like, first of all, they're not very financially well off. If you don't have a phone or a credit card, I'm just gonna be blunt here and say, like, you're probably not, I don't know, maybe you made some really bad financial mistakes and you are not able to get a credit card, or maybe you're not old enough because, you have to be a certain age to get a credit card. You don't have a phone. Again, these things, I don't want to put people in a bunch, but if you're walking around with no phone, no credit card, and you can't order an app, you probably should not be going up to random Uber drivers and asking them for rides, okay? They're probably not very safe. So I know some people might be triggered by that, but that's the reality, right? And we need to look out for each other, and safety is number one. I know I saved it for number 4 in this one, but safety reasons is why you should not do cash rides. All right, guys, that's my video. I just wanted to put this out there because so many drivers, and I've heard countless stories of people doing cash rides, and they don't know the liabilities, the insurance liabilities. Liabilities is huge. If you get into an accident, there's so many problems, and it's so bad, and it just, at the end of the day, it's not worth the 20 or the 30 bucks at all, because it could cost you thousands and thousands of dollars, and could even cost you your life for safety reasons. So that's my advice, guys. I hope you listen. As a driver and as a passenger, if you're watching this, I really hope you don't do cash rides in the future with drivers, unless that driver does have a commercial license or whatever, the proper licenses to conduct cash rides if he owns his own business, you know. So yeah, guys, that's it for it. Or if he's a taxi driver, whatever, a normal taxi driver. But this is for the Uber and Lyft category. So thank you guys for watching. Again, leave the video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to be notified every single time I do post a video about rideshare and gig economy. Thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to y'all soon. All right, bye guys.